glad you did that. That's the church I'm from. So if the spirit does hit you, you do not have to be polite. You are welcome to yell, wave at me. Just don't throw anything at me. Everything else, we can do that. I'm just laughing a little bit at that bio every time I hear it because that's about 11 years old, so I was a lot more youthful. My message was a lot more youthful, you know. When certain pains didn't go on in my back and all that, I wasn't as cranky. I had a very youthful message. Any hip hop fans in here at all? There we go. Okay. All right. So I'm 44. I saw the evolution of hip hop. I actually, I'm one of those 80s babies who's old enough to remember the 80s because I saw it. I was born in 81. So I saw so many beautiful things. It actually makes me laugh sarcastically when I see that we now have breakdancing as an event in the Olympics. I remember when downtown San Francisco had signs, just like they did for skateboarding, that said no breakdancing, please. But yet you look, and we've evolved to this place to where the world finally gets it. And now it's in the Olympics, and this thing called hip hop has just evolved into this thing to where worldwide it is recognized as a culture. There's so many elements of hip hop. First of all, I just talked about the b-boy. It started with the DJ. And of course, when we first hear hip hop, we think rappers, right? But the MC was only there to give praise to the DJ. If you did not have a DJ to give praise to, it was like you're not an MC. And when we look at graffiti art, let's just remember one thing. It was not to vandalize our city. In the late 70s of the South Bronx, it was just in ruins. It was just rubble everywhere, and landlords were purposely burning down their properties to get the insurance money. I mean, if you're from this community, it breaks your heart to look at these abandoned buildings and broken windows. And finally, somebody said, enough. I'm grabbing me a spray can, and I'm going to decorate my city. That's what it was for. So finally, we have hip hop, this culture, this style of dress and everything. Don't worry, I'm bringing it all together. Don't worry. I know it's Easter. And we have music and music videos, and now you have hits and, DJ Jazzy Jeff and that one guy. I know y'all know that one guy. Come on, the guy who can't go to the Oscars for a while because of that one thing he did. Him and DJ Jazzy Jeff, right? They got the first ever Grammy for hip hop. And after that, everybody caught on. Okay, well, I need to do some Grammy-worthy music. And so we have these singles pumping out. And then the 90s comes, and we invent this thing called the remix. Now, for those who don't know what the remix is, see, you fall in love with the song at first. You love the beat, you love the lyrics, the video was everything. That's the whole reason we stayed home. Mom, I need to know what to go buy at the mall, and in order for me to do that, I have to watch videos. And after you fall in love with the song, they do the remix and give you a brand new beat, a brand new set of lyrics, and it's a brand new song. You get to fall in love with the song all over again. Anyone ever feel like our favorite DJ, known as God, the universe, whatever, is remixing you? Ever feel like that? Ever feel like your life is going through a remix? I'm also laughing because I'm one of those people who likes to brag about how I don't get sick, because I really do not get sick. It's just I'm one of those people just like I'll slap everybody's hand with no gloves on it, no Purell. I'm that guy. I love being that guy. The only problem with that is when that blue moon shows up and you do finally get sick, there's always I thought you don't get sick, Luchan. Like, oh my, you would remember that, wouldn't you? And so over the last 4 days leading up to today, I was in the bed coughing and just going through all those things when you feel ill, and it was just like, oh my goodness, right before I'm supposed to speak, And so when I wake up today and I have no cough, literally, because last night I was hacking and just crying and just looking like a big baby, and I wake, I'm like, he has risen today. Okay. Today represents the resurrection. And what I love about this day, this message, is that I grew up in this philosophy. I grew up believing that life is eternal. And I'll be honest, I did not get a whole lot of Bible lessons growing up. Because of ministerial school, I'm getting so many more, and I'm loving it. But I was raised to know that life is eternal. Well, if life is eternal, and we're talking about Easter, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And also understand, I did not get a whole lot of Jesus talk growing up. I really did grow up knowing that the universe is all. So now when I talk about Jesus, it used to make people uncomfortable. When I hear it, I understand that God has many faces, many names, and all of that just like you. We cannot escape the characteristics of God. It's in you right now. And so for that, understand, every time I talk about Jesus, I'm talking about you indirectly, because that's what the whole story is about anyway. I'll start with the beginning, where you have this amazing person and came to this planet with a certain level of understanding that no one else has had at birth. And we can go into the amazing miracles and the bad guys and all of that, but the main thing, the main focus is that the divine understanding that there is no you and God, there is only God. Now, when I first would hear this, I would get upset. Oh, well, if there's only God, then how come there's all this other stuff that I myself has decided is bad? Anyone an athlete in here or grew up playing sports? Okay. It used to be very fun for me to just try to demean my opponent, right? You know, the beginning of the game, I'm trash talking, I'm just saying all the mean stuff, and I just had this disdain for my opponent, especially when I was playing organized sports. You know, when we had the helmets and the pads, and like it was a real game, like we saw that other team, it was like, ooh, we could not stand those guys. And as I got older, I realized how much I love the game, how much I love the smell of that barbecue at the game and all the cheerleaders cheering us on. And, you know, your dad is just shouting your name from the stands and you hear him and you're in the huddle like, you guys saw that tackle? You saw that tackle? And I remember that. Once I actually started loving the game, I realized that to truly love this game, I have to love all of the game. What am I saying right now? If I don't have an opponent, I don't have a game today. Which means that my opponent needs to be loved just as much, because without that opponent there, I don't have an opportunity to show my skills to the world. Is there someone in your life who tries to act like an opponent? I love asking that question because no one can ever pretend like they don't have that, right? I always ask questions that always, you know, anyone in here have a birthday this year? See, I ask those kind of questions. We all have that. And let me tell you something else. Let me remind you of something you said that you may not remember. We have all asked at one point in our life to be great, to express our greatness. Yes, you did. Stop it. Yes, you did. We've all asked for that. How do we truly know we're great if we do not have something that challenges us enough to awaken that Spirit of God in us? Here's the one gift and curse about this understanding I'm talking about. Here's the one thing I do not like. You will never, ever fathom the ability you have within you. You'll never know, because the moment you reach that milestone where you thought, okay, well, once I reach this, I've broken the record and I know what I can do. Once you do that, you've already unlocked a whole nother amount of potential in your consciousness. that you have not tapped in, you'll never know just how amazing you are. You'll never know. Because your expression of God, that Christ consciousness I'm talking about, is unlimited in you. You'll never know. But we'll never, ever run out of opportunities to express it either. Now, I'm going to talk about how a lot of this relates to my life, and hopefully you'll see the similarities in your lives, because there is only one life. We all go through ups and downs and trials and tribulations, and, well, in my 20s, which was a good, 20-something years ago, there was this movie called The Butterfly Effect. All right, I see some people are nodding their heads. I love that. They're like, all right, see, I'm not that corny. See, I see everybody at school, I'm not so corny. And what I love about this movie is it's very appropriate. See, there's also a regular sermon and example that many ministers use in New Thought. And I always would laugh because I would hear my grandmother do it and my uncle do it, and I always say, well, I'm not recycling none of those. I'm coming with new material every time, and I recycle every single thing I've ever said. You just can't stop doing it. And so the butterfly effect. We know that a caterpillar is living his life as a caterpillar, and small and crawling and just going through life really believing that all it will ever be is a caterpillar, to the point to where it's actually very comfortable with this fact. I'm a caterpillar. That's what I am. One day, this tiny caterpillar feels sick. Like, oh my goodness, I need to take a rest. Gradually, the caterpillar believes, am I dying? And so it finds somewhere to just seek refuge and go through whatever they're being called to go through. And by this time, I'm seeing all the brilliance in here. We know that this is the caterpillar going into a cocoon. And what's interesting about this cocoon phase is, there's a point where while in the cocoon and the transformation is going on, the caterpillar is literally goo now. Like, do you understand? It's literally evaporated into liquid, and it's just sitting in that cocoon, waiting to take form again as something else. And so while it takes form as something else, and we see that, okay, now the butterfly is starting to take effect, there's a very important part of the message. And this is when the wings are starting to sprout and all these things, and it's starting to push its way through this cocoon. Now, I don't know about y'all, but there's been many dark times in my life that I've survived. And when I survived, I was angry and said, how come no one came to my rescue? How come nobody helped me? Did you know that if you actually help the butterfly get out of the cocoon, you're actually not helping it? I didn't know that, so I'll pretend I did since all of you did. You can't help it. It actually needs to go through the stress of pushing itself out so it develops enough fluid in its wings so that it can fly properly. Please understand that whatever you may be going through in life right now, it is not happening to you, it is happening for you. And we as human beings go through multiple cocoon phases in our lives. You never stop being remixed. Ever. You never stop being remixed, because God is just that abundant. Think about the times where you thought you were going to stay that person forever. How many times have you transformed into something different throughout this beautiful thing of your life? How many times? In 8th grade, my biggest fear was being jumped. I'm from Berkeley. We're all hippies. All we want to do is just hug each other and be happy. But even a one-on-one, okay, that I can understand that. But jumping someone? And so moving from Berkeley, California, to Pittsburgh, California. I'm not talking about the Pittsburgh we see today, where there's actually a Starbucks and running water. I'm talking about when I was going to Pittsburgh, where it was really pitch black at night. There were no street lights, cows everywhere. People were bored. And what do preteens do when they're bored? They get into trouble. And so there I am with my best friend at the time. And we're leaving the skating rink that everybody goes to, and those neighborhood kids who did not like us because we weren't actually from Pittsburgh decided to jump us. I wish I can say that I stayed there ever so brave and helped my friend, but I did not, because I was fast and I ran. And when I got back to my friend, I saw his face all swollen and his lip busted, and I just began crying like a baby because I felt like such a coward and a terrible friend for leaving my buddy like that. For years, and I'm talking years, I have carried that guilt of that day. Much of who I am today has everything to do with my guilt from that. Plenty of times where it was time for me to run, I should have run, and I was like, no, I will not. I even learned to choose my friends differently because of that moment. One day I'm coming from my girlfriend's house. This is a good 10 years after that moment. And as I'm riding my bike all happy, because, I just came from my girlfriend's house, so I'm happy. Somebody punches me from the blind side while I'm on my bike. And I fall off my bike, and I hear 2 car doors slam, and I realize, oh my goodness, I'm getting jumped. And all I could do was curl into a ball. There was nowhere to run. And as it's going on, all I could think while I was covered up in the ball is this what getting jumped is like? Oh, wow, this isn't so bad after all. Why am I bringing that up? Come on now. Our biggest fear always ends up not being nowhere near as bad as we thought it would be, and once it happens, we're now free from it. Once that happened, I was able to navigate the world without a fear in the world. I already survived my biggest fear. Now, after that happened, it's something about it just made me feel like I needed to preserve that friendship with my friend who I hadn't talked to in years because we were in junior high. And so regularly I would call him, regularly I would try to, find ways to hang out, and I would always end up coming back to that moment, and God finally told me, stop bringing that up. It's old. He's moved on. The guys who jumped you move on. Nobody remembers that except you. But my ego wouldn't let it go. So recently, I'm hanging out with that friend again and his older brother because his older brother was very disappointed in me that I allowed his little brother to be handled that way, and I ran. And so I always felt like I owed something to his older brother because we looked up to him, and I was ashamed of what I did. And so we're all hanging out, and God is telling me, whatever you do, please just do not bring that up. You're having a great moment. And I could not help it. I brought it up again. But it was different this time. I had finally gotten the closure I always wanted. But at the same time, I also realized that, this same friendship that I'm trying to keep exactly the same has evolved. We're not the same people. And listen, we just don't hang out like that anymore. And the reason why is because there is no need. The chapter's closed. What needed to be fulfilled was already fulfilled. So while we are mourning things, what we're truly mourning is who we were yesterday. Who were you yesterday does not matter. Today is always what matters, the now. Even the word present. We look at the word present and it's just, okay, a present, a gift. But the reason the word present is also the same as the word present is because the now is the greatest gift you can ever give yourself. And you have to be fully present to accept the gift anyway. I can't give you a gift yesterday. Anybody who can do that, show me. And I can't give you a gift tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes anyway. You've never seen tomorrow. All you've ever seen is the now. The present is everything. A lot of people don't like to say the word good morning, because this is the Bay, and we just have to be different, right? So you say good morning. Oh, well, I don't mourn anything, sir. Grand rising is okay. But what if a good morning is accepting who you are today and no longer needing to hold on to who you were yesterday? Whatever dreams and fears you had of yesterday, you let that go and you allow the present moment to be your present and your gift. What if that is actually the definition of a good morning? If you are experiencing a dark time in your life, fear not. You're only being remixed. You're only learning how to dance this dance all over again and enjoy the party that much more. Fear not whatever you're going through. As a matter of fact, give thanks for it right now in this moment. Here's my little minister kind of thing, my little swag. I don't have a little towel to throw up and catch, but check this out. Luke 24:6-7. He is not here, he has risen. Remember how he told you while he was still with you in Galilee, the Son of Man must not be delivered to the hands of sinners, but be crucified on the third day and rise again. Now, we don't necessarily talk about sin in this philosophy. What we do talk about is divine consciousness. The reason I do not believe in sin is because I do not believe in mistakes. I do not believe in good or bad. I believe things just are. However, we are human, and in this experience, we have experience that we've adapted as our favorites. I love roses. I don't really like thorns all that much. But is it really a rose if there's not a thorn on it? We get to experience both. And though we get to have our opinions, understand that the truth is that it just is. You will regularly be resurrected and go through things and go through dark times. Regularly. We never run out of these times in our lives. The part that I can deal with is that, right? The darkness, the all that, and okay, well, there is no good or bad. But the part that I struggle with is forgiveness. But in order to hold a grudge, I have to stay in the past, right? I can't be mad at you for something you did, but still be fully present. I can't do that. So that means that in order for me to fully accept the present, meaning the gift that God sent me here to be, I have to let go of whatever I'm mad about. And I don't always want to do that, y'all. I'll be honest. So we get to the story of Judas, and that's where a lot of us tense up. But let's just be honest what Judas represents. Judas represents that part in us that we have a problem forgiving sometimes. Anything in your past you think about that you do not like thinking about? That time you went to the company party and told a little bit too much of your business? That time when you gave that person a piece of your mind and a few other things as well? That time where you just felt so desperate and so hopeless, and now when you look back on it, you're like, oh, that's embarrassing. That is the Judas in all of us. We've all had times where we acted cowardice, where we were afraid and we allowed that fear to punk us and make us run away like little babies. We all have had those times. But how can you truly accept the gift that you are in this present moment if you do not forgive the Judas within you? How? And that's the hard part. Because in order for me to do that, I have to forgive all the Judases that have affected me along the way. And we all want forgiveness. Am I right? Who in here doesn't want forgiveness? I want forgiveness. I'm letting you know right now, I make a lot of mistakes, and I want you to love me through them. But in order for me to do that, I have to love you through yours as well. We all want forgiveness, but who is willing to forgive? Before I go, because I know I always go way over time because I just love y'all that much and I feel that much empowered. In John 14:12, Jesus said, "Very truly I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these, because I am going to the Father." That's a verse that doesn't get talked about enough. He's telling you right there is no difference between you and I. Stop looking at me. Look at these teachings. I'm giving you the game. Stop watching me. As much as I love the story of Jesus, I have to say, I think we missed the point. He never said, worship me, follow me. What he said was, everything I am doing is in you right now. Have you all seen that video where they showed the characteristics of the universe and how it all looks like things that go in our body? A star dying looks exactly like a cell being born. Why do you think that is? Come on now, God is telling you there is no separation. The same Christ consciousness that we're waiting to come back is in you right now. What are we waiting on? We can start. You are a miracle right now. Give the world you. We might not all be able to sing like Shazam. That is Shazam's gift. That's Shazam's miracle. But what is yours? And are you sharing it with the world? I'm realizing now that that is really the true definition of sin anyway. You're not being your God self. Who told you to hide your awesomeness? Who told you that those moments along the way were something for you to be mad at, for you to hold on to? Right now, in this moment, the light is you, and you have risen. Thank you, Home of Truth. Do I pray?